Okay. Lacey, do we have Sarah Frankenstein on Teams?
Sarah, can you hear us? She muted? No, I mean, I don't know if she's muted, but I don't have her muted. I don't have, that's.
Better mind.
Did you unmute the camera too? I don't know if we can recall her. See, she has herself muted. I don't have her muted. Yeah.
Better mind.
So you don't have her disabled either.
John, do you want to call her really quick and see if she can hear us?
I can send her a text.
Why'd you say put a comment, Mike?
Well,
She's not.
whatever you want to change. She was.
She said she wanted to.
Yeah, she's been following.
On the chat.
She can't, you can't because she needs to be a co-organizer. Did she log in?
She's on as a co-organizer.
She says yes.
Okay.
Hi, Sarah. Oh, we cannot hear you. I don't,
We show that she's muted. Did she unmute herself?
you show that you're muted, Sarah. Can't unmute the video. Here's Sarah.
See, choose presenter. She's on as a presenter.
Okay, you show yourself as a presenter.
Do I need to present? Back in the number.
Okay. Because we show in your login that you are,
It says she's a presenter.
where does it say she's a presenter?
I'd have to go back.
Hold on a second, we're checking, because when I'm looking at your
Way above
login
the
here,
pay grade.
it shows her like this.
Way above the pay.
I know how to run a tablet, that's it.
I'm gonna show you a presenter.
Mhm.
I run levers for a living. I'm a kid in that.
I turn around. This is all I do.
Yeah, you're
Tighten
up.
bolts, I tighten bolts and loosen them back up again.
Then hopefully not those parts. Or have leftover parts.
Run a lot of leftover parts and tell
Go to.
There's nothing wrong with parts.
happens if you're working on a dash or an engine.
Oh, boy.
There you go.
So I'll blame you for the rattle in the dash then, right?
Oh, okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, there. We hear.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Oh, she-
Okay, there we go. Yeah, you just needed to make me a presenter, I guess.
But you,
We're good to go. Can you guys hear me?
the chair would.
Yep.
President would entertain a motion.
You can? hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Are you ready for me to go?
Well, Nikki is the president pro tem.
I would like to know if anyone would like to make a motion to allow Sarah to explain the election and
I don't think you need a motion, but
Well,
how would you like me to say?
you could say that you're willing to entertain a motion that we discussed in executive session. Are you ready?
You don't need to say that.
Sure.
Okay. I would like to make a motion.
No, you're not making a motion. You're asking for a motion.
I'd like to ask for a motion that we entertain what we discussed in executive session with Sarah.
And I'm gonna take a shot at this, and then anybody that wants to move this can do so. But the discussion in executive session centered around a discussion with Sarah Frankenstein and the council members. And my understanding of the council's intention is that upon receipt of a notice of entry of order implementing Judge Hanson's bench rulings, which we would anticipate Monday, Tuesday, certainly
Next week.
next week, when she returns from wherever she's at, that the council will call a special meeting to be held not later than July 28, 2023, to set deadlines for the special election. The special election shall be set for Tuesday, September 12, 2023. The notice of special election shall be published for 2 consecutive weeks after July 20, 2023, or the special meeting date if it's sooner. The voter registration notice shall be published and combined with the same notice of the special election. Nominating petition shall be due not later than August 28, 2023 at 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The sample ballot shall be published not later than September 1, 2023. Absentee balloting will begin on September 4, 2023 through 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time on September 11, 2023. And then as mentioned, the special election date will be set for Tuesday, September 12, 2023. How did I do, council?
You got it all.
I think we nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay, does someone want to move that?
I will check. I'll make them over. Oops, set that.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Sorry, I'm reading.
Want to call the question?
Well, do you guys want, I think you're just voting on having me speak, right? To explain to the public and take public comment on those issues, right?
Well, I think the intention is to is to have a motion that's been made and seconded that sets forth what we discussed in executive session, which is that upon, and let me state the rationale for this. It's the council's view that the word presentation in the statute in 9-13-31 in this context must mean the date of the judge's order being entered, because this election has been judicially stayed and the judge needs to enter an order that implements the court's bench rulings. And then upon receipt of that notice of entry of order, the city of Baltic will set a special meeting to be held not later than July 28 of 2023 to set the deadlines that were laid out. And Brian McGreevy made a motion and Travis sure seconded that motion, Sarah. And I guess it's appropriate for you to, Nikki, to have Sarah talk on the points of the pending motion. Since it's been made and seconded, it's appropriate to discuss it. And Sarah, we want you to handle all the questions from members of the public on what those deadlines are, because they came from you.
Yeah, and I don't advise you to pass that motion exactly as.
Yeah.
She's talking. You wait till she explains,
It's-
please.
We have the opportunity to explain between motions and before we take a
Yeah.
vote, so.
You can address me nicely. Don't snap your fingers at me.
Don't interrupt the lawyers, please, when they're going to explain what's going on,
Address me.
please.
Hey,
Okay,
Sarah.
let's
go ahead and
open this up,
explain
Sarah.
Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit different language than that was just stated, and I don't think you need a motion actually at all. And I'm going to explain why here in just a minute. So just so the public understands, in case you weren't at the hearing, Judge Hanson did rule on both the intervener's brief as well as the mayor's contentions as to which issues listed at the top of the petition get to advance to the actual special election for recall. And if you read the paper or were present, that you know that only issue number 2 gets to proceed. So what you've got in your public packet is an amended petition that comports with the judge's bench ruling. So you'll see either crossed out or blacked out. Numbers 1, 3, 4, and 5 are no longer a part of the petition. This is amended to only include issue number 2 as the court ruled. So that presentation of the petition as amended happens right now. It's presented to you by statute through your city finance officer. So today is the presentation of the filed petition. So with that, the city must set within 10 days or you can do it tonight, but at least within 10 days, the city must determine a meeting at which they will set the special election. So what we've recommended, and I think you'll hear tonight that the city council has agreed to set a special meeting as long as the judge enters the order when she's back in her office as anticipated. Set that special meeting for July 28th, and the dates we're looking at, so this is unofficial, but we're floating them for public comment. These would be set unless there's some earth-shattering revelation tonight from members of the public or anyone else that those dates won't work. But these would be the dates that the city council will likely set at the special meeting July 28th. So we're not setting them now. We can't set them now. But we want to let the public know what they're going to be so we can take public comment on those. And those dates are, as City Attorney John Hughes just indicated, we do recommend and are looking at setting that special election for September 12th. That's allowed by statute. If there's any questions of why we chose these dates, I'm happy to talk about the minutia of state statute, but we are very much restricted as to when we can have these types of elections. And then all the various election deadlines that any election administrator needs to comply with and do, we've set out in these recommended or proposed dates. So knowing that the special election we're looking at setting for September 12th, we need to fit in all the deadlines prior to that need to take place. So like John said, we recommend that we publish the notice of the special election in 2 consecutive weeks papers after the July 28th meeting, because we can't do it now. We're not setting the dates right now. We would publish the voter registration notice, which normally happens combined. So we're not having 2 different notices trying to squeeze that in a short period of time. Nominating petitions would be due August 28th at 5 p.m. So that means anybody who would like to run for the position of mayor in that special election has to turn in their nominating petitions. We do anticipate we're going to set that as the due date at the special meeting July 28th. Then we'll publish the sample ballot in the paper September 1st. And we're going to do 1 week of absentee balloting from September 4th through September 11th at 5 p.m. We can't do it past that date by state statute. Those are the dates we threw out. They make sense from an election administrative standpoint. They comport with state statute as much as they possibly can in a recall election scenario. And we want to open that up for public comment so that the public can be heard if they don't like those particular dates. Now is not the time to re-argue the positions that the parties made before the court. We don't have any authority to do anything with any of your arguments. We have to comport with the judge's decision. So it's not time well served to make your arguments about any of that. But if you have comments about the dates that we chose or we will choose, we're proposing, now would be the time to speak to that.
I have a question about presentation. Sarah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So you had said today is the representation of the petition. So how is it presented amended if the judge has not ruled? I mean, ordered.
There's
The judge has ruled but not ordered.
There's never a judge that rules on anything before petitions are presented to the city council. So when you get one, when the city finance officer gets one submitted to her office, she validates it by going through, is there enough signatures? Are they registered voters that are allowed to sign this petition? She does her validation process. If everything is appropriate, she files it, which means it's validated and she's going to file it. That filing date triggers the finance officer's requirement to present it to the city council at the next meeting. And that's what we're doing. It was presented the first time unamended back whenever that was, March or something. And we did this the first time with the first petition's iteration of the language. But now that we have a court's bench order and we will get the written order probably next week, the judge is just gone right now. We know exactly how the judge is going to rule because she told us from the bench. It can only move forward on issue number 2. So tonight the city finance officer has presented the amended petition to the city council.
Does the council have to approve that then, or is it just accepted as amended automatically?
There's no acceptance at all. City council
Okay.
has no authority to accept or say they like it or they don't. Zero authority there. They are just presented with it, and then they shall set the date of the election within 10 days of today. So there's no authority, no sense in arguing before the city council what you want them to do with the petition. They can't do anything. They just shall set the date of the election. So we're here only to talk about our presented dates and if you have any issues with them and why.
I appreciate the clarification. Thank you.
And if it's okay for me to speak now, that's exactly why I wanted to say something. Well, I appreciate John stepping in and trying to discuss that, what you guys discussed in executive as a citizen, reaching out and talking to Sarah, wanting more clarification. I didn't understand why you were motioning and why the clarification of presenting was being interpreted by John when we've hired Sarah as the city representation to do so. And her explaining everything and Deb asking those questions is exactly why we have her here. We should be using her expertise in doing so. So again, I think it was inappropriate and rude to snap at me. And
It's rude to interrupt people too.
I wasn't interrupting, I was only asking why we're doing that. But I appreciate, I think Sarah is a great resource and answering all the questions that the citizens have fielded for her. So,
There's still a pending motion, council can vote on if you want. That is what we discussed in executive session. And Sarah agreed with that approach, so.
Is there anybody else that had any questions too? Like,
Yeah.
cut anybody
We're
off
there
that?
first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah, do you have a problem if the council votes on the motion, or what would you prefer?
Yeah, the motion was saying we shall set the date and shall do this. That all happens on July 28th. So all you need to do tonight is set the special meeting for July 28th, whereby you will take up the issues of the deadlines as long as you've received the judge's order by then.
Yeah, exactly, and the intent was to make it contingent. That was the only intention, Sarah. It's, you know.
Yeah, but don't put the deadlines in your motion because you cannot set the
Okay,
deadlines
that's
tonight.
fine.
Yeah.
So we've got a motion to set the meeting date to July 28th, pending order from the judge,
Yep.
correct?
Correct.
Beautiful.
Was that your motion?
No, that was motion already made. I was clarifying what the motion was, and I seconded.
Okay.
I believe, Brian, you made the motion, correct?
Yep.
I seconded. So we're due for a vote there, Miss Standing Mayor.
Brian, do you just want to approve Travis's restatement of the motion, as long as we have the motion? Maker agreeing to the restatement, then it's a valid meeting, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
July 28th,
Okay.
time to be set later.
That's fine.
All those in favor there?
All those in
Nikki?
favor. Well, come on, give me a little.
Oh, you're good.
No. Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
You gotta say it.
You gotta,
Is anybody opposed?
no.
You should have given me script on this because I have no idea.
You listened to enough of them, you think? Very good.
July 28th, probably 5:30.
Earlier the better. That's right.
That's not as serious with the.
Yeah, look
Yeah.
at your calendar.
Okay, July 28th.
Well, you can call it back up. to the table.
Okay.
Deborah, would you like to please come back up to the table and do your job?
I should have given you
Since
those.
I can't have the hearing.
Okay, so
sounded like a cry for. I know. It wasn't right for help, yeah.
right,
Well, 10 years, pretty simple.
you go with the name. Try that. You have the three hats? Right.
Right.
What is your role in making it? Yes.
I have one more thing that I forgot. Okay.
Okay, you guys, well, you guys were in executive session and we realized that Ms. H was not done with her community relations update. She has another ask of the council.
One more thing I needed to ask was for this Saturday's driveway carnival, am I able to have alternative vehicles from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. So like lawnmowers and anything
Oh,
else.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So how do they go about doing that, John? Is that a motion? How's that work?
It's a good question. How does that work?
Well, they're legal ones, well.
Well,
Because we
they,
have,
they would all have, I mean, lawnmowers don't have triangles on them, so, you know, they're slow moving vehicles.
would it be worth a conversation with the sheriff's office to let, I'd be interested to ask Cassie Muller how she went about that the last.
She just let him know. She just,
Sheriff's office.
Yes.
That makes those.
yeah,
Okay.
she just let him
That
know that
works.
we're kind of doing an in-town soiree that,
For you pokers.
yeah.
I'm gone.
Okay, so but there's not a motion required of the council. Okay, so then you just need to direct to law enforcement.
Motorcycle
Okay.
on the hills.
Okay, cool.
Needed vacations.
Was there anything?
Yes, guys.
Okay. Next is legal updates, Mr. Hughes.
I have nothing.
Well, that's easy. Next is council mayor updates.
Don't have much
I think we're
to
good.
think of.
We covered the to-do list tonight. And so now we are to adjournment.
I will happily make a motion to adjourn.
9:54.
Travis is making the motion to adjourn. Who's got the second?
Second.
I'll give that to Nikki.
That's fine.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.